Hello, this is Mesh from Downtime Distractions with a first look review of Neon Chrome. So as I said, this is a first look review, so please check the description below for specific detail on the difference between our full reviews versus our first look reviews. So Neon Chrome, it's a cyberpunk top-down shooter with rogue-like elements, and it has other things as well, including procedurally generated levels and a very interesting combat system that is also very tricky. So it's developed and published by 10 Ton Limited. So previous titles from these developers are title one, which is Crimsonland, which was released in 2014, which was also a top-down shooter. It had very positive response on Steam, and it developed a bit of a cult following as well. So they also did a few other titles in 2015. One was called Sparkle 2, and one was called Tennis in the Face, I believe, both having positive reviews on the Steam page. But unfortunately both those titles seem to just disappear into the abyss that we call Steam. So thanks to 10 Ton Limited for providing me a key so I can have a review and check this game out prior to release. So this title's coming out on the 29th of April. Price at the moment is a bit uncertain. I kind of got a confirmation it's going to be around $15 US, but please check the store page to confirm that amount. Regards the engine that this is built on, it's their own proprietary engine. Just thought I'd note that in there. So we have a single player and a local co-op. Both of these play the same. The game mechanics are the same, but obviously co-op, you can have local co-op and people joining in with you. So the combat, very typical of a top-down shooter. It feels very familiar, which is good. So you start off by choosing your class. You can have classes such as assassins and hackers and soldiers, all with varying abilities and weapons, and the special abilities as well. So they add a real flair to the combat, which is nice, adding that variety. So not only do you choose the class, but as you play the level, you access cybernetic enhancements, which you could say they're perks. So a few of them are things like you can reduce damage, or one of them is you destroy 50% of the robots on the current level. You can increase the speed that you move, your melee power. They're all passive, but they're all worthwhile. So we also have a good number of different weapons to choose from, and you pick them up as the levels progress as well. So that's nice, another varying component there. But to add even more to that, as you progress through the level, you earn credits. With those credits, you can upgrade your character. So this upgrade is vital for progression. If you find yourself stuck and repeating the same level over and over again, you can get those credits and purchase the upgrades before you start the level again. Okay, so the story, the driver behind the game. So the story is slowly unfolding for me still, as I've not completed it. But what I've seen so far is you're in this massive complex called the Neon Chrome. That is probably where you work and live. And it's ruled by an overseer. And that overseer has possibly become corrupt, or he's just psychotic, and he's throwing everything at you to stop you. And you slowly drip fed information about him as the levels go on. So it's a really good way to kind of reveal his character slowly and see how evil he really is. So that's really the crux of it. It's just you're trying to stop the overseer, trying to escape. It's a very simple concept, but it works and it's quite nice. So let's have a look at the options menu, then we'll have a look at the UI, and I'll show you a bit of the basic gameplay components. Okay, so this is the options menu. So here we have display, and it's quite a nice amount in here. So we've got all the different resolutions. We can choose windowed mode. Obviously, not selected, it'll go full screen. A couple of presets, or we can choose to turn on or off these settings as well. So for the top-down genre, this is probably a good amount of settings to have for a display. Now there's not a lot more that you could really want from this. A couple of things here and there maybe, but for me I think this is a good amount in here. Okay, and let's look at the gameplay options. So for me, shaky screen is fine, but I know some people hate it and turn it off. So it's good to have that option in there. Sounds, very basic. Sound effects and music. Controls all seem to be rebindable, so that's nice, and you have gamepad support as well. And the last one, which I really appreciate, is the ability to make a new save. So if someone else comes along and wants to play it, or you want to redo it, you don't have to muck around within your Steam folders. You can just do it all here. So fantastic, really good. So yeah, that's really the options menu. Let's jump into the game and I'll show you the UI and let's have a look at some gameplay components. This is the main starting area, and what we have here is this is the area where you use your credits to purchase upgrades. As I said, this area is vital. You really do need a lot of these upgrades to actually progress, otherwise you won't gain any power. So every time you start a level, come and spend your money here. It is needed. Also, we have a few more things as well. You can have a quick look at stuff. So you can see your enhancements and have a read about them if you want to double check and see how you kind of want to progress and what else you've got to unlock. So as you can see, there's quite a bit in there. And these are the abilities, which you can change in the level, but not often. You generally get these by default when you choose your class, and then you'll probably stick with it for the most part, but you can change them every now and again, as I said. And the weapons, so as I say, there's also quite a few of them in here. I've unlocked a large portion of them, which is nice. Achievements, and I guess a summary of this stuff. So here we go, we jump into the seat here, and we can set our character alive. So here we go, we can choose, what do we want to choose? So a couple of classes here. These are probably the main ones. There's a few more, but for me, these are probably the main ones which are different. So you got the corporate soldier in the middle here, who carries a riot shield in front of him, or her, and so the frontal damage is reduced, but you're quite slow. Over here you have the hacker, so they have a drone that follows them, and also you can hack terminals to take more money. And the assassin, which is, I guess, the kind of stealthy, but does a lot of damage. And there's a few more as well, as I said, but they're kind of a bit more standard classes. So let's go with the hacker, as I like the weapon that they've currently got. The weapons and the abilities are all random as well. So this is how many times I've actually died. So I've died 37 times to get to this point, which doesn't sound like a lot when I say it, but it is. So I'll go into level 3 because level 4's a bit tricky for me at the moment. So this is the different levels we have. Something to note, these diamond-shaped levels are actually bosses. Obviously, that's the overseer there. So I'm up to here, 14, is where I've got to currently. If I progress to here and die at level 11, I will go back to start here. So you have to beat the boss to be able to save it to progress further on. So it does get a bit frustrating if you get to level 12 and then die, then you're back here. As I say, these are the bonus levels as well. So this is all random. So every time you start, the procedurally generated levels will be random, and they'll put the bonus levels in randomly as well. So it's good to get a lot of them because you can get more cyber enhancements from them. But anyway, that's enough with this menu. And let's just jump in and have a look. So here we go. So I've got my little drone to help me out. And my basic attack. And that's on left click. So if I right click, I use my ability. So that is really the main, I guess, your main attacking abilities. But it's just dealing with the different types of enemies all the time. That's a real interesting part. And things like this, where these guys have shields, so I can't do any frontal damage to them. And I don't have any rockets, because they can be taken up by rockets, but my special ability is this one. Straight away, we actually have the ability to choose an enhancement. So here we go. So let's install some cybernetics. So what do we got here? So we can have instant cash, or we can improve our explosives. And this one here is gain 500 credits every time we move up a floor. So let's just choose this one. So our explosives will be better. We don't have any at the moment, but if we want to change our ability to explosives, that will be handy. And this at your level here, see it says destroy targets 0 out of 6. So sometimes it's just get to the end of the level, but sometimes there are goals that you need to achieve. In this one there is, obviously, a couple of I guess drone mines there. So here we go, we can hack this area and get a whole bunch of money. Ooh, and a new rifle, plasma shotgun. I'll pick that up to the areas we're to destroy. We do have a little melee as well, which is vital for the assassin character. Not so much for these ones. I mean, it is definitely valuable, but sometimes you don't want to get close to these guys. And take these guys out, little robot guys. Okay, so that's actually the end of the level there. But we can't do anything because of that locked door. So we need to complete all the targets. There we go. So destroy marked targets to open. So we still need to destroy my targets. And let me show you another really interesting part here. Try and get a bit of a sneak on some of this guy. I might be able to sneak attack him here. Yeah. So the sneak attack does a lot more damage, and you need it against guys like this. Wonder if I can sneak round. No. Oh, he saw my drone. Get away from him. Okay, there we go. So that was good. And the different AI is really cool. I really like the different types of AI that I'm facing now. It's not the same humdrum one all the time. And that guy was dishing out quite a bit of damage to me. And we got a bit of a heal here. And what's cool is one of my favorite features about this is the destroyable walls. So these big ones you can't, but the smaller ones you can. And it really adds some interesting stuff. So say you're in an area where you need to approach these guys from the front, but you don't want to. So let's smash down the wall and pop out from behind them and take them out. Just stuff like that is really cool, and I really like how you can change how you approach situations because of that. It's really, really nice. Okay, so let's move on to a summary. So graphics, audio, and gameplay. So graphically, it's a very nice design. The neon chrome building is unique. The animations and explosions are all nice. I feel it's a real homage to the old Smash TV game. Graphically, good, and it has a nice charm with that kind of cyberpunk feel to it. And audio. So the music has some memorable tracks, which I have enjoyed. The sound assets across the board are of a good quality, and the weapon sounds are very gratifying as well, so that's nice. So audio is pretty good. So gameplay. For me, that's where this game really shines. I mean, the thing is, graphics and audio are fantastic anyway, but to add onto this gameplay, it has a prodigious amount of content and variation. So you've got all the different weapons, 30 plus, all the different cybernetics, I think it's 20 plus, all the different classes you can play. So you can play a stealth character very stealthy and slowly. You can play the corporate soldier, running headlong into battle. There's many different ways to play each class. It's just fantastic. So then you can kind of obviously sculpt your class as you go along, change the abilities, get the cybernetic upgrades. So, I mean, that in itself is good. Then you add the procedurally generated levels with the bonus levels that are interesting as well. Add the different things that are going to happen to you in each procedurally generated level. So you might be attacked by a squad, or you might have to do a whole bunch of tasks to unlock the door. It's really good. And just the different types of enemies you're going to face. So not one of them is really the same. So each different, so you got the soldiers you're facing with a shield, so you need to flank them or sneak attack them or get them diverted somewhere else. And you have soldiers which are immune to some stuff. So you have to think outside the box often. And add on top of that the destroyable walls, so you can really sculpt the different way you want to approach each area. So its gameplay is fantastic, it really is. And the ultimate question, is this game worth $15 roughly, because we're not 100% sure of that final price yet. And for me, if you're into top-down shooters, it's a no-brainer. I've spent 7 hours and I'm only just got to halfway. And it's only going to get harder. I've seen people in forums mention they've done 50 plus hours and still haven't completed it. Every time that I load up a level, I find it refreshing that it's different, it's not what I'm expecting, it's never the same, I can play it differently, the characters, the abilities, the weapons, it's really good. There's a lot to this game. So for me, top-down shooter, if you're into them, this is a no-brainer. Pick it up. If you're on a fence, sure, maybe wait till a sale, but for me, still saying that $15 for the amount of content, the amount of gameplay, and how much I enjoyed it, it's probably worth picking up anyway. So I'll leave it here. I hope this has helped you make the decision to purchase or not. Please leave me some feedback below, positive or negative, it's always appreciated, as long as it's constructive. Thumbs up obviously if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe for further games and videos from us, and gameplay as well. And I'll see you next time.